Okay, a little bit of a clear up of what's going on. Just final bit of proof. Okay, so here's the MKV for Shadows of Evil, as you can see. Yep, that's all the memory for it and everything. Here's the MKV for Genesis. This is the original, and as you can see, it's all the weird data and shit. And here is a blank file that I made. Yeah, as you can see, it's literally just blank data. I can scroll on through like forever. They're all the same size. Yeah, they were created at different points in time and things like that. That's irrelevant. But you can see the data is different in all three, and this one is literally just set as ones all the way through. So, just to prove again, let's create a pseudo key. Yeah, we want to make a pseudo key. We want to use our Shadows of Evil. This is doing the XOR crap that they keep talking about. So we're going to use that. Encrypted file. Well, the encrypted file is our Genesis, isn't it? Yeah, so we're going to encrypt and create a pseudo key. Okay, so there's our pseudo key. Okay? No, we don't want to encrypt. That's for another part of the program that I've completed and working on. But anyway, we want to decode. So we want to decode this Genesis file now, don't we? We want to use the encryption key that we got to decode the Genesis file. Cool. Okay, so we're creating another file. Okay, there's our decrypted file, and it's done. Okay, so we're going to change this to a .mkv. Yeah, we want to change that. And as you can see, it's shadows. Cool. That's what everyone's talking about. It works. So yeah, if you decrypt that using the XOR key that you get from these two, then you get shadows. Cool. Okay, they're telling the truth. Okay, so let's try with the blank file. Do you wish to create a pseudo key? Yeah, why not? Name of the decrypted file. Well, we're going to go with this one, because that's the decrypted file. Name of the encrypted file. Yeah, let's do the blank one. One that's got nothing in it, as you can see, nothing. Okay, so we're making a pseudo key. There you go, there's our pseudo key. Actually, what I'll do is I'll prove to you that the pseudo keys are different in a minute. So no, we don't want to encrypt, but we do want to decrypt. We want to change this blank file. We want to decrypt it, see what it is, because like, you know, it could be anything. So yeah, we're going to decrypt that, and we're going to use this pseudo key. Yeah, you know, the one that we got from that and that. So like, it's yeah. Okay, right. There we go. We got a decrypted one. Okay, cool. So .mkv. Yeah, and oh, cool. It's shadows. So I've just decrypted Genesis into shadows, and I've also just decrypted the blank file into shadows. That's pretty cool. Let me just show you something, just to prove that these pseudo keys are different. Pseudo key 2, this is the pseudo key for the... Actually, this is blank. I'll show you something interesting about that as well in a minute. So let's XOR. We want to make the pseudo key. Yes, we want to make it from that. Yeah, and we want to use the Genesis one. Yeah. Go and create our pseudo key. Okay, cool. So this is our Genesis pseudo key. And this is our other pseudo key, just to prove they're different, right? Just to prove. Let's look at our Genesis pseudo key. Yeah, there we go. Right. Okay. Yeah. Lots of random crap. What about blank file one? Oh, they're different. Well, that's because I'm using a blank one here, where they're all just ones, and this one's actually using loads of random data because it's whatever this is. You'll notice that we have random shit down here, which looks like it could be words and shit. Well, that's because what I've actually done is I've used a blank file with all zeros in before as well, and it doesn't actually fucking change fuck all. Mainly, well, it doesn't change much anyway, mainly because, like, there's not much to change. But you can see that the pseudo keys are completely different. Like, completely different. And I know there's probably going to be some people out there going, oh yeah, he's doing all this, and he's getting these two pseudo keys, and like, he's getting the pseudo key from blank file, pseudo key from Genesis, but he's always outputting the same thing. Okay, zombies, this is the one. Let's full screen this just for a quick sec. So this here is what I used to create the blank file MKV with just ones in. I loaded up the Genesis MKV and create a blank file, basically the same size as. That's how I got a thingy the same size. So yeah. Ignore all this bit. this is just setting up some stuff for something else I was working on. Effectively, we got, do you wish to create a key? So when we say yes, we're going to set the make key flag to true. So there, and then if this is true, we're going to write line, what is the name of the decrypted file, and we're going to get the encrypted file name, encrypted file name to decrypt. Oh yeah. What's the file name that you wish to decrypt? You type in the encrypted file, and then file name to decrypt goes in there, decrypted files. So effectively, we're just getting the two files here, and we're just saving encrypted file there, decrypted file there, and then we're using get key to decrypt and encrypt. Now, as you know, the two keys are different, so when we use get key, it is giving us two different pseudo keys. So that's fine. You know this is doing its thing. This is the encrypt thing. We'll just minimize this for now. So then we've got the decrypt. So if decrypt flag is true, okay, decrypt file. So file name to decrypt. So we're gonna, what's the file that we want to decrypt? We save the file name in there, and then we read that file into encrypted file. Okay, and then what's the name of the encryption key file? We read the encryption key in there. And then what we do is we decrypt the file using an encrypted file and an encrypted key. So you can see here that I am running a function that works differently on both. They're just other bits of code, but it doesn't output the same thing. You can see that from the code. It outputs a different file based upon the encryption pseudo key and the key and the file that you provide it. Again, I can't believe I'm having to do this, but it's proof that you can use this and any other file, including a blank file, to produce Shadows of Evil. Simply because you're creating a pseudo key from the both, and then you're reversing that with the pseudo key to get that. That's as simple as I can make it. I have another video, which I kind of want to upload. I really do want to upload it. But I'm a little hesitant at the moment because it's quite long. It's like 17 minutes long or so, trying to explain something about the pseudo keys. And effectively, this pseudo key here, this is a pseudo key that's generated from there being nothing but ones in the entire thing. Obviously, if you had a pseudo key with nothing but zeros in the entire thing, it would be a completely different kind of thing. This pseudo key is the actual pseudo key, and obviously it looks a hell of a lot different. But the thing about the pseudo key is that what I explained in my other video is to encrypt a piece of data that is 134 megabytes big, you either need a 134 megabyte key that you use to encrypt 134 megabytes, or you need a longer key which is able to encrypt 134 meg, or you need a short key that is then repeated or used over and over again to generate the rest of the key in order to do 134 meg. Because the fact is, I think I've shown this in the previous video, if your key isn't long enough, you can only encrypt a certain amount of data. And again, if the key isn't long enough, you can only decrypt a certain amount of data. And Porter has also said this in the Mr. Ruffle Waffles video, if you don't have a long enough key, you can only decrypt a certain amount of data. So in order for us to have a key that can encrypt and decrypt the 134 meg files, it either needs to be a key that is 134 meg, which I wouldn't assume Treyarch would upload a 134 meg key, unless it is the Genesis.mkb, which would be a bit weird. Or they're using a small word like Chronos or zombies to encrypt the files, effectively. Which makes me believe that inside this pseudo key is a pattern. And this pattern will be used, it will be like a small word like Chronos or zombies or something that will be used to affect the data. What I mean by that is, how can I describe this? I had a little thing somewhere. Is it in here? Nope. In here? Yeah, okay, so, for instance, here's an encryption pseudo key. If we had an encryption pseudo key that's that long, and we had a file that was this big, this can happily encrypt this, and we get this, okay? However, if our encryption key is only this big, then in order to encrypt something this long, it would need to increase the size of the key, like that. Or not necessarily like this, so it's literally repeating itself, but maybe, so instead of it being Chronos, 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 but it's Chronos and then RONOSK, and then ONOSKR, you know, so it uses the key to encrypt the rest of the data, or it uses the key, should I say, to make a key big enough to encrypt all the data. But yeah, like I say, I just wanted to show that literally, because there's so many people saying, oh, you know, this, that, the other, you can use any file, including a blank file, which I prove in here, to basically encrypt any data.